The 2026 Olympics are any day now. All right, well, they're February. We've had a look at who might be on Team Canada. We've had a look at who might be on Team Finland. Let's take a look at what players might make Team Sweden for the 2026 Winter Olympics. Now, once again, the teams that are the easiest to evaluate are the teams who have played best on best hockey the most recently, and there's only 4 teams. The teams that faced off in the four-nation face-off: Canada, USA, Finland, and Sweden. So we can go off of the rosters that those teams had. Here's a look at what Team Sweden looked like. Jesper Bratt, who I thought was absolutely spectacular. You could argue was Sweden's best forward. Certainly, like, the fastest, the most electrifying. I loved watching him play at that tournament. Also, Mika Zibanejad and William Nylander. Mika Zibanejad has had some incredible playoffs in the past. It's sort of that way, but it's a short tournament, so it's not quite like the playoffs. Similar big game energy. If you ask New York Rangers fans, a lot of them are running a little cold on Mika Zibanejad right now. And of course, William Nylander, who over the past couple years especially has emerged into a star in the NHL. He was always good. We didn't know he was going to reach this kind of ceiling. At least it wasn't a given. Next, Philip Forsberg and Lucas Raymond on the wings, 2 lethal scorers. Elias Pettersson in the middle. Adrian Kempe and Elias Lindholm on the wings. Joel Eriksson Ek up the middle. Eriksson Ek was another player who I loved at that tournament and in the playoffs. Rounding things off, we have Arvidsson and Raquel on the wings. To have those guys that deep in the lineup is crazy. Centered by the very young but very talented Leo Carlsson. Gustav Nyquist as the extra guy. So here's what I'm seeing there. There's a lot of incredible players who just didn't have the best seasons last year. And they're up the middle. Elias Pettersson, his struggles last season were extremely well documented. He was playing through locker room turmoil. He was playing through injury. He was playing through just about everything. And there were times where maybe he shouldn't have been playing because he did not look anything like the best of Elias Pettersson. Mika Zibanejad, far less so. I mean, he wasn't his best. He wasn't anywhere near where Pettersson was struggling. And I have him listed as a winger here, but he can obviously still play up the middle. Elias Lindholm, another guy who did not have the greatest season. That might sound like a criticism of Team Sweden's forward group, but I actually think this is the root of reasons for optimism. Did they do all that great at the four-nation face-off? No, they did not, because it's a very short tournament that didn't feature a lot of games. Every single one of their games were tight. And if you get a little more from Elias Pettersson, a little more from Mika Zibanejad, a little more from Elias Lindholm, how good is that roster?
Pretty good.
Let's look at the defense. Victor Hedman, Rasmus Dahlin. Oh my God. Gustav Forsling, Erik Karlsson. Oh my God. Matthias Ekholm, Rasmus Andersson. That's a very interesting one. Jonas Brodin as the extra guy. Up front is where I see the most room for improvement with Sweden. They have some very talented players, some very well-rounded players. On defense and in net, I don't worry about that at all. Like, on defense, that core of 6 guys is crazy, and they could arguably improve on that. We'll get to that in a minute. And in net, also crazy, and they could still improve on that. Philip Gustafsson, Linus Ullmark, and Sammy Ersson. You might be like, oh, one of these things is not like the other. Gustafsson had a great season. Ullmark had a great season. Sammy Ersson. Yeah, well, you're forgetting about Jake Markstrom. 26, 16, and 6 with a 900 save percentage in New Jersey last year. He's a volatile goalie. Sometimes he's kind of average. Other times he's Vezina worthy. At least worthy of the conversation. And at the end of the day, how likely are you actually to use 3 goalies in one Olympics? You might use them as a luxury just because you can. But what are the odds, like, oh no, 2 guys got hurt? I probably just cursed it into happening, didn't I? I see defense as a strength, goaltending as a strength, Sweden sticking to the brand there. They're going to be fine there. I do wonder who starts, though, out of Gustafsson and Ullmark. That's a tough one. With Ullmark, there's still a little bit of the playoff thing, but he's also extremely good. Let's have a look at some of the players who could make Team Sweden's roster, who we haven't named yet. William Eklund from the San Jose Sharks. because of Macklin Celebrini, because of Will Smith, this guy gets overlooked, and you should stop. 10th among Swedes in scoring in the NHL last season, 58 points in 77 games. 17 goals, 41 assists. He likes playmaking, 58 points. Young guy, you would think he's only going to get better. Sweden, you would think, would want their younger players to grow with their program. Eklund is an excellent candidate. This player might be a lesser known name, but he's real sneaky good. Simon Holmstrom. First round pick from 2019, 23rd overall to the New York Islanders. Maybe you don't know him because he's been hiding out there. 6'2", 215 pounds, and 13th among Swedes in scoring last season. 20 goals, 25 assists, 45 points in 75 games. He was one of only 5 Islanders to score 20 last season. If he has a hot start, look out. This is a player who I've loved for a few years now, Fabian Zetterlund, now of the Ottawa Senators. The San Jose Sharks traded Zetterlund to the Ottawa Senators, and I'm very upset about it. Wish they hadn't done that. He had 41 points in 84 games last season. 84 because he was traded from the Sharks to the Sens. 19 goals, 41 points. Now, he did not score very much when he got to Ottawa. He had just 2 goals and 3 assists in the 20 games that he played for Ottawa after he was traded there. He had 17 goals with the Sharks before that. Only 5'11", but 220 pounds, just built like a fridge. I wonder if Sweden went with a heavier lineup, and again, he finds his spot in Ottawa's lineup and has a good start to the season. I wonder. And along the lines of young Swedes, Simon Edvinsson of the Detroit Red Wings, 31 points on D last year. 7th amongst Swedish D in scoring as well. Sweden has some really interesting depth options if they want, and they're not names I think you might suspect. Rasmus Sandin is absolutely in this conversation. I don't think this player is going to make it, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson is not miles and miles out of the conversation if there's injury. Perhaps more likely Marcus Pettersson, now of the Vancouver Canucks, or Adam Larsson of the Seattle Kraken if they need another right-handed option. Look, Sweden is going to have a really, really good team no matter who they ice. After all, it's the Olympics. You don't win these things on paper. It's going to be about who's playing well when the tournament begins. It's going to be about team chemistry, who can glue together the best. It's going to be a little bit about saves. Let's face it, it's always a lot about saves, which Sweden should be able to get a lot of. They're kind of this weird team that you would rarely ever look at and be like, that's the favorite. 100%, they are going to win the gold medal. But they are absolutely, always, without a doubt, in the hunt. This Swedish team, make no mistake, is in the hunt. So, what do you think of Team Sweden's roster? Would you keep together the squad that they had at the Four Nation Face-Off? Would you add some of the honorable mentions? Are there some guys that I might have forgotten? Let me know in the comment box down below. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. They're in the hunt. Wait, sorry.